Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to talk about 10 of the worst weapon attachments in Battlefield 4. Now there's quite a variety of weapon attachments for a huge array of different kinds of guns, and some of these attachments don't make a lot of sense or even in some cases hinder the performance of your weapon. Let's start off with an attachment that I don't think has ever been used to good effect. That is the duck bill barrel modification for shotguns. This attachment changes the spray pattern from your buckshot or flechette shot into an elongated oval, which you could look at and say, hey, that's going to be great for getting multiple headshots of people looking over cover. The only problem is that buckshot and flechette shots don't do any bonus damage to headshots in Battlefield 4. So for the most part, you're really just better off aiming center mass and hoping that more of your pellets hit. If you aim for the head, chances are fewer of the pellets are going to hit and you're going to do less damage. So this attachment combined with the odd weapon damage model in this game doesn't really make much sense at all. Another terrible weapon modification is the frag round. Now this shoots explosive shots, they do splash damage, they'll do a little bit more damage if you hit your target directly. They will never one-shot anybody on the battlefield, which is one of the biggest advantages of a shotgun, and from range their muzzle velocity is so slow and their drop-off is so extreme that it's very hard to hit ranged targets. Their only real purpose in the game, as far as I can tell, is to just kind of troll kill people, because if you're taking it seriously, the frag round is just a straight downgrade to any shotgun platform. Now how about weapon optics in the game? Sure, everybody has their own optical preferences, but there's some out there that are just straight up downgrades to any weapon platform. The 2x magnifier is one of those. It gives you a very slight amount of magnification, but obstructs most of your screen real estate, making it incredibly hard to track targets that are on the move. Then of course there's some pretty extreme weapon scopes in the game. The 40x scope has insane magnification levels on it. In fact, the magnification is so extreme that you really only want to use this from like 1,000 meters or further away. This pretty much relegates the scope so that you can only use it on Conquest large style maps, and even so, when you're using it on maps that big, the quantity of kills you're going to be getting because of the extreme range are going to be slim to none. In fact, your best chance of getting actual kills are going to be on other snipers using the 40x scope that are just sitting there trying to range you in. And if you wanted, you could certainly lump the 20x scope into this category as well. Going along with the 40x scope is the rangefinder. Yeah, it can be nice to have an exact range to your target when sniping. It'll allow you to zero in your scope perfectly to get those headshots. Again, if you're sniping from these extreme ranges, chances are you're not PTFOing. The way that the Conquest game mode is set up doesn't really benefit from extreme long-range snipers, and you'd probably serve your time a lot better getting on the objective or clearing people off of flags, which is going to be very hard to do from your insane sniper ranges. And while we're on the subject of sights, how about the canted iron sights? I don't think anybody actually uses these things seriously. Not only are these backup iron sights very hard to aim with, but there's not a lot of point in using them. If you have a bolt-action rifle set up efficiently with an 8x scope, you can either try and headshot somebody in close quarters or just quickly switch to your sidearm to deal with them. Iron sights, I feel, are rarely going to be a better alternative to either of these options. How about a weapon attachment that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense as to how it's activated? That is the tack light. Sure, the flashlight is a useful weapon attachment in the game. You can blind people with it, take them out before they can even see you, really. The tack light, on the other hand, only activates when you aim down sight, which is a very weird time to activate if you think about it, because it's automatic. It turns on every time you ADS, whether it's close range or long range. Generally speaking, if you're extreme close range to the point where a tack light's going to be very effective, you don't necessarily have to aim down sights. In fact, hip firing might be more effective. It'll give you more mobility. And then when you do aim down sight at somebody long range, it'll just really hone people in on your location, as it's pretty much as bright as a sniper glint. So anybody long range who doesn't already see you is definitely going to see you when you turn on that tack light. If you really want to blind people in close quarters, use the flashlight and just get used to manually turning it on or off. How about an underbarrel attachment? There's plenty of grenade launchers out there, some of them good, some of them not so good. One of the worst ones is the Flashbang Launcher. This basically can shoot flashbang grenades into a room, blinding people. If you hit somebody directly with it, it can one-shot them. The biggest flaw with this weapon is that there's just better alternatives. You can always just equip flashbang grenades, which are also designed for close quarters. There's no real reason to have them in the launcher itself. Not to mention, if you're picking a flashbang launcher, you're picking that over an actual grenade launcher that can kill people with splash damage, or an underbarrel buckshot that can just blow people away. So there's just plenty of better alternatives and replacements for the Flashbang Launcher, making it kind of obsolete. Let's talk about a weapon attachment that offers very little benefit and unfortunately comes with a pretty substantial side effect. That is the flash hider, and it does exactly what it says. It hides the flash of your weapon, and you can decide how useful this is to you. It's not really that useful in general, mostly useful on dark maps, but even then you're still going to appear on the minimap. People are going to hear the sound of your weapon, and because using this attachment makes your weapon's accuracy return to normal at a slower rate, making burst firing or tap firing more difficult, there's very few situations where you can actually recommend putting this attachment on. I suppose you could put it on a bolt action rifle where it shouldn't really affect the performance of your gun too much, but then again, if you're shooting at people from that far away, how much benefit are you actually getting from a flash hider in general? And item number 10 on the list is something that I will concede and say that has uses in some areas of the game, but is mostly useless, especially for all the weapons that it's offered on, and that is the Bipod. This, in my mind, is only useful on machine guns and very choke pointy maps where you have the advantage of setup time and stuff like that. And even then you might get a kill or two, but then people know your location and you're either going to have to strip down your location and run somewhere else, or just try and fight it out and see if you can tank the damage that's about to come your way. Chances are your survival rate with a Bipod on most of these maps is not going to be that long. So a very, very situational attachment, yet it's offered on so many different weapon platforms out there. It should really, in my mind, only be offered on the machine gun. It's almost laughable that the Bipod offers some sort of accuracy benefits for bolt action rifles, as there isn't really much need for an accuracy benefit. And once you deploy your Bipod, then you're stationary, making you an easy target to hit for any other sniper. It's just one of those cases where the real life benefits of a weapon attachment certainly don't translate into video games, and anybody who's using it, I think, is mostly going to use it for the aesthetic benefits as opposed to the actual benefits. Anyway, that kind of wraps it up for my 10 worst weapon attachments in Battlefield 4. You can do just fine in this game by ignoring these attachments altogether. Chances are, if you're using them, they're not being used properly, or they might just be hindering your performance in general. Maybe switch to something else. As always, guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.